10 years ago this week, one of the titans of American comedy was celebrating his 100th birthday. Dave McKinley has that and other headlines of the past in News 8 Then.
Hard to believe, but it was just 10 years ago this week that we first reported to you about a new technological breakthrough called the digital video disc, the DVD, and that the first players on the market would cost between $500 and $800. Bull Shark Minnesota Fats died at 83, comedian George Burns lived to be 100, and Lisa Marie Presley filed for divorce from Michael Jackson less than a year and a half after wedding him. The granddaddy of the modern TV talk show, Phil Donahue, called it quits, and maybe just in time, for during the same week he was announcing his exodus after 30 years from the genre he's largely credited with creating. A new show premiered, one pairing the unlikely duo of Tammy Faye Bakker and Jim J. Bullock as its hosts. It was fortunately short-lived, and don't you ever tell me TV is worse today than it was this week in 1996. 20 years ago this week, just like now, the third Monday of the month of January was celebrated as Martin Luther King Day. This week's News 8 Then Pop Quiz: what was the significance of the Martin Luther King Day celebrated this week in 1986? 30 years ago this week, in the days of quadraphonic sound systems, Rochester Telephone unveiled its newest offering. Though it looks markedly different from the one you may have in your home today, this is an early version of a cordless telephone. Oh, and printers were busy as just about every office or agency was taking delivery on those special bicentennial letterhead and brochures they'd ordered this week in 1976. 40 years ago this week, downtown was about to change significantly, with approval given after much debate to make most of its main thoroughfares one-way. These are among the last films taken of two-way traffic on Clinton Avenue. You are looking north, by the way, from Main Street, where you'll note the marquee from the Paramount Theater on the left-hand side, about halfway down the block there. And here's the intersection of Clinton and Broad as it appeared this week in 1966, where you might recall the Shaler's Restaurant, where you could grab a hot dog before or after the show. A streetscape which you can see today has changed mightily from the days of News 8 Then.
And the pop quiz answer: 20 years ago in 1986, Martin Luther King Day was observed as a federal holiday for the first time. Some states resisted, but in 1999, the holiday was officially observed in all 50 states. And get this, just today, Greenville County, South Carolina officially adopted Martin Luther King Day as a paid holiday, the last county in the United States to do so.